Okay, so the AFC playoff race in the Western Conference standings is heating up. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies right now, they got a 4-game lead over the Pelicans. But you still got the Spurs, you got the Kings, and even the Portland Trailblazers are all still in the mix. So in this journey, I'm going to break down the Western Conference standings, and I'm going to let you know who's going to get that 8th seed out west. Also, stick around to the end, because I'm going to break down yesterday's Lakers and Clippers matchup and let you know which one of these teams is going to the NBA Finals. Let's get into it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now, if you're new to the channel, what you're going to get is my passionate and unfiltered opinion on the hottest NBA and college basketball topics. Now, if you're a ballaholic like me, then go ahead and hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and also tap that notification bell so that you'll be updated whenever I drop new videos, which is every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, before we get too far into the video, go ahead down to the comment section below. And for the comment of the day, let me know, who do you think is going to get that 8th seed in the West? Is it the Pelicans? You think it's the Suns, the Kings, the Spurs? Who do you think is going to get that? Are the Grizzlies going to be able to hold on? Let me know in the comment section below. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the 5 teams that I think are going to truly have a legit chance for that 8th seed. Now, the Phoenix Suns, they're kind of on the outside. I think they're about like 38 losses right now. And I'm going to kind of dismiss them because honestly, I don't think they're going to have a realistic chance. And I love Devin Booker, but I don't think they have a realistic chance to make up the ground that's needed in order to be able to get that 8th seed. So we're going to dismiss them. But coming in at number 5, I think, is the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs right now, they have to be one of the most disappointing teams in all of the NBA. When you've got a Hall of Fame coach, arguably the best coach in the game today in Greg Popovich, you also have 2 all-star caliber players in DeMar DeRozan as well as LaMarcus Aldridge. There's no way in the world, when your 2 stars have been healthy for majority of the season, that they should be sitting 10 games under 500. This team right now is on a 2-game losing streak, and they just lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers, the bottom of the barrel Cleveland Cavaliers, just last night. I mean, that's unacceptable by any stretch of the imagination and by any metric or standard that you want to put on the San Antonio Spurs. They've got 2 games coming up, to me, are an absolute must-win, especially after letting that game go yesterday. You got the Dallas Mavericks and the Denver Nuggets, 2 teams that are fighting for playoff seeding. They have something to play for. They also have bona fide, legit stars on their team. The Spurs need these wins. If they get these wins, I think they're still in the mix. If they don't, I think that streak of 23 consecutive playoff appearances, that's gone. And the Spurs become a lottery team under the tutelage and the leadership of Greg Popovich. That's a disgrace, in my opinion. Okay, so the next team up is the Portland Trailblazers. Now, this team right here, I kind of give them a little bit of a pass because of all the injuries that they've been dealing with all season. However, these last 2 losses, totally unacceptable. Listen, this is a team that was in the Western Conference Finals just last year, and they have a bona fide superstar in Damian Lillard. So when you lose back-to-back games at Phoenix and home to Sacramento with Damian Lillard in the lineup, unacceptable, especially when you're in a deep battle for that 8th seed trying to climb up the Western Conference standings. Listen, these next 2 games are absolutely crucial for the Portland Trailblazers. They play tomorrow home against Phoenix, and then they have the next game home against the Memphis Grizzlies. You cannot lose those 2 games. Out of these 5 teams that I'm talking about, right now the Portland Trailblazers have the most losses with 37. You've got to win these next 2 games against teams that you're basically battling with, specifically the Memphis Grizzlies and that 8th seed. If you want to climb up the standings, you got to get these done. Unfortunately, I don't think the Memphis Grizzlies are going to lose enough games for the Portland Trailblazers to be able to catch them. So the Spurs and the Portland Trailblazers, as much as I like the talent that they have, I don't think either one of those teams are going to get that 8th seed. Okay, so next on the list, we got the Sacramento Kings. Now, this team right here, I've got to give a lot of credit to Luke Walton. He has totally brought just a fun, invigorating system to this young Sacramento team squad. They got a lot of energy that they play with, and they've actually been on a hot streak. They won 7 out of their last 10 games. And as much as I love Luke Walton, the ex-Laker, and I love the up and down system that he had, just a free-flowing offense, Luke, you got to be better. You've got to be better. Last night, in a tough battle with the Toronto Raptors, you're down 3. You're down 3, and you have the reigning 3-point champion, Buddy Hield, sitting on the bench when you need a 3. Come on, Luke. You gotta be better than that. You gotta be better than that, bro. Listen, Sacramento, they got a nice little stretch coming up. They're 28-36. They're 4 games out of that 8th spot, so they have a chance. But this next game they got coming up against the Pelicans on Wednesday, that's a must-win. That's an absolute must-win. When you got De'Aaron Fox, when you've got Buddy Hield and all the young talent that they have, you got to get this done. Bogdanovich putting him into that starting lineup, I think, was a very good coaching move, and it's definitely helped them to start gaining some momentum. They're playing better, but I need to see more from the coaches as well as from the players. Okay, so next up we got the Pelicans. Now, the Pelicans, I love the talent that they have. Lonzo Ball has been playing amazing basketball in like his last 15 games. His shot is falling. He's playing with a lot of confidence. Love what he's doing. Drew Holiday, last night came off a season-high 37 points. Brandon Ingram, as we know, first-time All-Star. And even Zion has been an absolute monster. And the chemistry amongst this team, they're playing great. However, they did let a couple of games recently slip away that they should have won. You cannot lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves at home. That's unacceptable. And then they go to Dallas and lose a tough road game in overtime to the Dallas Mavericks. However, all in all, is not lost, because the schedule that sets up for them to have a lot of these teams that they're battling against, they play them. They play 3 times against the Spurs. They got 2 games against Sacramento Kings, and most importantly, they've got 2 games against the Memphis Grizzlies left on the schedule. And that Grizzlies Pelicans is going to be almost like a back-to-back or like a home and away series where they're playing 2 games where one is in Memphis, one is in New Orleans. Those are absolutely crucial must-win games for the Pelicans. You win those 2, that cuts that 4-game deficit down to 2 right there. The question is going to be, can the Memphis Grizzlies hold on? Like I said, the Spurs are at their heels. The Kings, the Trailblazers, the Pelicans. And I think you have to really look at the schedule that Memphis has. That's what's really keeping this door open, right? Because a 4-game lead with, 20-something games left, it should be enough to kind of hold somebody at a distance. Not when you're the Memphis Grizzlies and you got the second toughest schedule left in the NBA. I mean, let's just take a look at their next 10 games. Their next 10 games after they play the Orlando Magic, which is their next game, which they have to win, and I'm assuming they are going to beat the Orlando Magic. After that game, their next 10 games is an absolute gauntlet. Check this out. They play at Portland, at Utah, at San Antonio, home against OKC, then at Milwaukee, home and away with the Pelicans, home versus Boston, home versus Toronto, and then at Toronto to close out the month of March. Sheesh, you talk about a schedule that's just for March to end this month. Listen, I could realistically see Memphis beating the Orlando Magic and then going 2-8 over the next 10 games. I can legitimately see them going 2-8 over the next 10 games after beating the Orlando Magic, which I think they'll do. So the question is, can the Memphis Grizzlies hold the Spurs, the Trailblazers, the Kings, and the Pelicans off? Are they going to be able to hold these teams at bay? I just don't think that they can. I love the talent that they have. Ja Morant is right now Rookie of the Year. And I think missing Jaren Jackson Jr. has really put them in this crucial situation where the door's kind of left open for these other teams to sneak in. I think if he's healthy, I think they will have enough talent to truly hold off the rest of these teams. To me, the team, I think, based on schedule, based on talent, based on how they've been playing recently, the team that I'm going to pick to make that 8th seed and climb up the Western Conference standings, to make the playoffs and to have that chance to battle the Lakers, listen, I gotta go with the Pelicans. When I'm just looking at their schedule and looking at the talent that they have, I just don't think the Memphis Grizzlies are going to be able to win enough games to keep the Pelicans off their heels and out of that 8th seed. So what does that mean? What does that mean for the Rookie of the Year race? Can Zion steal Rookie of the Year from Ja Morant if he knocks Ja Morant and his team out of the playoffs? That's debatable. I'm gonna have to do another video about that at a later time. But if the Pelicans make the playoffs, which I'm thinking that they will, and or even if it's the Grizzlies are able to hold on, whichever one of those teams make it, you're setting yourself up for a first-round matchup with the LA Lakers. Now that leads us to the next topic, the Lakers, who we just saw over the weekend have probably the best 2-game stretch of any team we've seen all season. You played the Milwaukee Bucks, who had the best record and still have the best record in the NBA, on Friday. And listen, they kind of handled the Greek Freak and the Milwaukee Bucks. Listen, it was a 10-point win, but that was a convincing win. The ability that I saw for LeBron to man up and guard Giannis, attack Giannis on the box facing up, and for Anthony Davis to guard Giannis and then be able to post him up and go at him as well. That dynamic duo, I just don't think the Milwaukee Bucks were ready for that. Then we saw them against the LA Clippers yesterday. Man, oh man, that was a marquee matchup and a big-time showdown. Laker fans, you've got to love what you're seeing right now from the Lakers. That Clipper game was one game, and it will have zero effect on a playoff series, right? When the playoffs come, records are 0-0. But that was a confidence boost for the team. I think LeBron James understands he could turn it on when the time is needed. But I think he's already kind of in that playoff activated mode and just hasn't told anybody, because the way he's played over the last 2 games, man, that's special. That right there, and it's not just the last 2 games, because he did it against Philly, he did it against when he was going against Zion, he did it against some of the other younger teams that they have been beating on the street. I mean, the Lakers right now are the hottest team in the NBA, winners of 11 of their last 12 games. They're on a 4-game winning streak as we speak. Lakers right now are balling, and you gotta give LeBron James a lot of credit. I think he can catch Giannis in the MVP race. Now, a week ago I may not have said this, I may not have felt this, but let's keep it real. The Milwaukee Bucks are 2 games. They're just 2 games over the Lakers for the best record overall. And if you get to the NBA Finals, that matters. The NBA Finals and having home court, it will matter, especially if both teams are healthy. So if the Lakers are able to catch the Milwaukee Bucks, you have to be able to say that LeBron James, who has to incorporate a new star, who's had to incorporate basically new players, majority of the team that he has is new players from last year. He had to incorporate a new coach, new system, and is doing all this in the West, which as we know is the tougher conference. Doing all of this in year 17 and he's leading the NBA in assists. How could you not call him the MVP if he's able to get the Lakers to the best record in the NBA? Giannis unfortunately suffered an injury. He's going to miss the next couple of games. Just last night they lost. So now they got a 2-game lead on the Lakers, and their next 2 games are against Denver and the Boston Celtics. It's not looking good for Milwaukee to hold on to that number 1 seed. As of today, yes, Giannis will be the MVP. As of today, yes, Ja Morant will be Rookie of the Year. But a lot of things can change in this last 20 games we have coming up for the rest of the season. If the Pelicans make the playoffs, if the Lakers are able to jump the Milwaukee Bucks for the best record, if these teams are able to climb up the NBA standings and their conferences, why would Zion not get Rookie of the Year? Why would LeBron not get MVP? These guys are freaks of nature, and they're leading their teams, and they're winning, and they're doing it in an amazing fashion. Okay, so before you go, take a look at this video I got right here for you. I think you're going to love this content. Also, if you're a Laker fan, I got a playlist right here for everything Laker related. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and until next time, peace.